Hey y'all, IrixGuy here. Welcome back to another epic drone show. And obviously this is a live event, so if you're watching it at approximately, let's see, what time is it? Approximately 12:34 p.m. New York City time on the 12th of May, then this is a live show. So we got a lot of, and I mean a ton of super good stuff today. We've got, if you've been keeping up with my videos, you know that Wednesday there's going to be a big announcement from DJI. Now, is that going to be a waterproof action camera? Is that going to be a waterproof drone? Is that going to be a submersible drone? There's a lot of speculation, but one thing is certain, and that's that you will see all of the coverage here on IrixDroneShow.com, and whatever releases, obviously you'll be able to order it. Just go to IrixDroneShow.com. Now, I've got high hopes for whatever's coming out. I mean, a waterproof action camera would be great. That's something that the Osmo Pocket, which is awesome. The Osmo Pocket, without the waterproof housing being available yet, the Osmo Pocket is not water resistant or waterproof. So there's not a way using the Osmo Pocket to go underwater. So that would be a really cool thing if DJI releases some sort of underwater camera that's just a hot performer. Maybe something like a Hasselblad. That would be incredible. Other speculation seems to suggest that it could be a waterproof drone. So, maybe a drone that's 100% for underwater use. Excuse me, hiccups. There's been some other people speculating that it could be a drone that could be, fly in the sky, but then also land on the water, and after landing on the water, submerge. So there's a lot of, it's kind of across the board. I mean, my assumption is that, a lot of people are looking at the announcement, saying unleash your other side with somebody in the water. I mean, what if we're all wrong? What if it has nothing to do with a waterproof drone or a waterproof action camera? So, that's always a possibility. I think that it's going to be, I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence, but they're long overdue. DJI is long overdue for a few things. Number one, DJI is long overdue for a 360-degree spherical camera. So, looking at it from that perspective, if you've got a spherical camera on a drone, you've probably got a camera on the top and you've probably got a camera on the bottom, so that when that video is stitched, it creates that 360-degree type view. Fly Right Drone says, love the channel. Great work you put into your videos. Greatly appreciate it, man. Actually, remember your comment from earlier today as well. And, it's super important, being an independent YouTuber, to have fans that not only take the time to watch, but also take the time to subscribe, share, and comment, and then on top of that, say really good things. So that's deeply appreciated. It's going to be a fun week here on IrixGuy's Adventure Channel and Epic Drone Show. Again, IrixDroneShow.com. That's anytime there's something new coming out, it's exciting. But I'm kind of going with, and a lot of people may say, oh, dude, you're incorrect. Keep in mind, and not to toot my own horn, but I will anyway, I predicted 2 years ago, and you can watch my video that I posted today, or was it yesterday? It was either today or yesterday. I predicted 2 years ago that DJI Phantom would be discontinued, and sure enough, it was. So my prediction here, I don't have the degree of confidence that I did when I made the claim that DJI Phantom was going to be discontinued, but I feel somewhat strongly about the idea of DJI wanting to release something that's perceived as really new. They're coming out with better and better drones. That's great. Good thing gets even better. But what they haven't done, at least in my opinion, is truly innovated during the past few months, or the past few years for that matter. Yeah, Mavic 2 Pro is awesome. Mavic 2 Pro is the best drone on the market today by a long shot. But even though it's the best, there hasn't been this really cool innovation that we've grown accustomed to with DJI. Martin, welcome aboard. Welcome aboard from Brazil. That's very cool. Got people from all over the world tuned in here, and this is excellent. So yeah, the 360 camera. I mean that is something that, number one, DJI could be first in its first of breed to have a 360 degree spherical VR, whatever you want to call it, type of camera attached to a drone, an aerial VR camera. That's something we haven't seen yet. We haven't seen it from DJI, and I haven't seen it from anybody else. I mean, maybe there's some fly-by-night company out there I've never heard of that may have dabbled with it. I know a lot of people have attached their own 360 cameras, 360 degree VR, again, whatever you want to call them, spherical cameras to drones. But I'm not aware of any manufacturer formally releasing a drone that says, hey, this has a 360 degree camera option. Tony says, I stopped watching you as soon as you said MP2 is by far the best. Oh yeah, Mavic 2 Pro is by far the best drone. I'm not saying it's perfect, but Mavic 2 Pro is without a doubt the best drone. It's small, it's lightweight, it's not too small and too lightweight to where it can't handle a moderate amount of wind, but slap on that awesome battery life, range, obviously fly line of sight to be safe and responsible. But yeah, on today's market, Mavic 2 Pro, without a doubt, and again, this is my personal opinion, Mavic 2 Pro, without a doubt, is the best drone. The reason being, I'm getting battery life, I'm getting portability, I'm getting range if I need it in a safe and responsible location. I'm getting 4K. Now, I wish it had 4K 60, but I'm getting 4K 30 thanks to a 1-inch sensor from a Hasselblad camera. I mean, it's a sweet drone. And it's going to be hard, and I'm assuming they probably will, but it's going to be difficult for DJI to trump the performance of that Mavic 2. And I have a feeling that's what's coming. And again, I think that's, the Evo, man, I don't know. And again, I haven't messed with the Evo. I never picked one up. I felt they were overpriced. And I didn't, and again, I had the same feelings when I first jumped into DJI with the Phantom 1. Keep in mind, I was a late adopter. So I jumped into DJI with Phantom 1, and that's after Phantom 2 had already been released. So I was a late adopter of drones, and the reason was I'd never heard of DJI, and that's a lot of money. That's something that's flying. It could crash. It could fly away. I could lose that investment. Buying something that flies, that films videos for my YouTube channel. It seemed like a dumb idea at the time. But I stepped outside of my comfort zone. I purchased that Phantom 1, again, late to the game. Didn't have a gimbal on it. Had used Moon Gel. Had a GoPro attached. It was crude, but it was beyond proof of concept. And it proved to me that, hey, these things have the capability of becoming something great. And that led to where I am today with the Mavic 2 Pro. So Tony says, what do you mean you never had the Evo? You see what I mean? Yeah, it was a tough one for me to swallow. I mean, I did pick up some other drones. A lot of people accuse me of being a DJI fanboy, and I appreciate your feedback, by the way. A lot of people have accused me as being a DJI fanboy, and that's understandable because DJIs are my favorite drones. But with that said, I've dabbled with a lot of other brands. I've not dabbled with the Evo. I just felt that the price point was too high, and the experiences of people that I know and I trust, not random YouTubers, but people that I know and trust that did have experience with them, either hands-on or they had experience by way of a close friend, they just weren't impressed, and it just wasn't a quality filming experience per them. Again, I have not put my hands around an Evo, and I don't really plan to. But I did mess with Parrot for a while, Parrot Bebop. That was a drone that severely disappointed. It could have been so much more. Parrot was small and lightweight, and it was they had a good idea. When Parrot Bebop came out, not talking about Bebop 2, which was basically just a refresh of Bebop 1, but Parrot Bebop suggested that Parrot seemed to have a genuine interest in wanting to create a drone that was more than just a toy. I mean, ultimately, they're all aircraft, but they wanted to create something that was more trying to compete with like a Phantom. And they failed, unfortunately, because even though it was small and lightweight, when the first one came out, and the second one, the Parrot Bebop 2, they had a smaller controller option. But the first Parrot Bebop, it was very small, it was very lightweight, but it just didn't handle the wind well. The battery life was horrible. The video quality, It was not gimbal stabilized. It had a software stabilization was not good. And then you got the huge Sky controller, and then that completely negated the value add of the smaller and lighter drone. So it was just it was a bad experience. Now Parrot did release after the Bebop. They released the Anafi, and I felt that the Anafi signaled that, hey, they're heading in the right direction. Anafi was not perfect, but if Parrot chooses to release a refresh of the Anafi, I think that the Anafi could be a drone. The future version of Anafi could possibly be a drone that could possibly seriously compete with DJI. And I would like to see that, because competition is a healthy thing. Anytime you have competition, whatever the industry is, whether it's drones, whether it's any sort of technology, when there's competition, number one, it prompts manufacturers to innovate more quickly. Because if you've got something that's selling and you're the only brand that's selling it, you don't have competition, why do you want to invest more money into researching and developing something better? Why don't you just continue to sell what you have, because you are the one and the only? But when you get a lot of competition, then there's going to be, well, all of these are great, but then due to rapid innovation, one company will come out and say, hey, we sunk $3 million into R&D, and here's what we came up with, R&D, research and development. Here's what we came up with. It's even better than yours. So then those other companies will respond and they'll say, well, God, they've really put us in the dust. So now we've got to invest our money to create something better. And not only are all the companies creating something better, it's creating a synergy, and it's causing all the companies to want to participate in price wars, because ultimately they're all getting to the same or similar product phase, the performance and that, but they've also got to get close with the pricing. So it's something that that is good, and we just haven't seen that with DJI. There's been competitors for DJI. There's been GoPro. I love GoPro, but GoPro failed miserably. GoPro failed miserably in the drone industry, and they abandoned it. I mean, they released Karma, got recalled. Even if it hadn't been recalled, it wasn't as good as the Mavic Pro that came out right around the same time. GoPro failed miserably. Unique, the Typhoon H. I think y'all have seen that. Looked cool, good idea. I admire the fact that they were going after the more safety-conscious drone. They said, well, if one motor happens to fail, then we've got backup. Now, I mean, hopefully someone would never have to test that, and if they did, hopefully they would be in a safe and responsible location. But, yeah, the Unique Typhoon H, it was big, it was heavy. It looked cool, but it was big, it was heavy. And check out my videos. It wasn't I felt like I was using a beta type product, even though I wasn't. I was using the full retail version. So that was kind of disappointing. So Unique disappointed me. Parrot disappointed me. But Parrot, I think they may have a promising future if they take the lessons learned from the Anafi and they take it to the next level and they properly test and test some more before they release it to the public. I think that the next version, if it does materialize, the next version of the Parrot Anafi could be a really solid drone and something that could seriously compete with DJI. Now, Evo, again, back to Evo. And I know I'm talking to Tony and everyone here, but Tony mentioned the Evo, and I don't know. I mean, you tell me. I mean, again, I haven't flown the Evo. I just told you the drones that I've flown. I have not flown the Evo. But what makes the Evo so great for you? And what makes the Evo perform better for you than, say, a Mavic 2 Pro or a Mavic 2 Zoom, or even a DJI Phantom 4 or DJI Phantom 4 Pro for that matter? What makes the Evo better in your mind? Tell me. I mean, I want to know, and I'm sure everybody out here would like to know as well. Fly Right Drone says, I hope the Phantom isn't dead. Unfortunately, and video that I posted, let's see, was that today or yesterday? I posted it 3 hours ago. Let me get a link here for everyone that's tuned in live that may not have watched this video yet. But the Phantom, the DJI Phantom, arguably the best drone ever, the drone that started the drone craze and got all the hobbyists, including myself, excited and convinced themselves, like, man, this is expensive. But despite the cost and not knowing the company at the time, taking the plunge and getting involved with a hobby that had a somewhat uncertain future. Am I going to buy? Am I going to buy this? Is it going to fly away? Is it going to break? Is it going to crash? What's going to happen? Or could it be an enjoyable experience? Now, obviously, looking back, I attribute the DJI Phantom to a lot of my recent success that my channel's had, because it got me obsessed with drones. And again, being a skeptic since day one, taking them out in the field, I don't want to set any sort of unreasonable expectations for myself or my audience. I just take it out in the field, show you what it does for me. Just your average dude taking a drone out in the field, safe and responsible location. Does it perform well? Does it perform poorly? What works well? What doesn't? What are the lessons learned? Sharing all of that as I experience it in the field with y'all by way of YouTube. So that was, the Phantom was a great experience, and the Phantom is what ushered in that opportunity. But like anything else, when something comes out, like the Phantom, I mean, it's arguably the best drone ever, and a drone that everyone will remember. And even the people that don't know what a drone is, they may have heard the word DJI Phantom, or they may have seen it on the news or YouTube and be like, yeah, that's that little thing that flies around. It's got 4 propellers on it. It's really cool. It created something great. So it's, and before we continue this, let's see, Tony just commented. He said, the question is, why do you feel like the Evo is no good? You going off on here, say, and you never had the drone. A lot of people have said it's built better than the Mavic 2 Pro. That's why I don't listen to DJI fanboys. Hey, that's good to not listen to fanboys. Whereas a DJI fanboy, an Autel fanboy, Unique fanboy, a Parrot fanboy, or whatever. And the reason I'm going off of it, the reason I've developed that opinion, again, I have not flown the Evo. So, there may be experiences that you've had that, enable you to say, hey, Autel Evo is better than DJI Phantom, or is better than Mavic 2 Pro, or Mavic Air, or Mavic 2 Zoom, and here's why, and provide specific claims from personal experience to support those opinions. My thing is, they don't seem to be easy to get your hands on. So the drone itself, if I had chosen to, if I did choose to buy one in the past, well, am I stuck with a paperweight? Can I get extra batteries? Can I get accessories? How plentiful are the third-party add-ons? If I, for example, with a Phantom, one of the things I would always do with the Phantom is install third-party prop guards right after I bought it. Not because I don't know how to fly, but because I often land in questionable situations, where it could topple over, a boat that's rocking, that sort of stuff. I was able to get third-party add-ons like the prop guards and the camera protector and all of that easily for the Phantom platform. Would I be able to do the same for the Evo? Again, when you've got a brand, and again, I promote competition, and I would love to see somebody step up, and whether it's a micro brand or whether it's a big brand like a Google or a Microsoft or an Apple, I'd love to see someone step up and try to dethrone DJI. I think it would be good. Again, it should provide the customers with better prices. It should cause the companies to more rapidly innovate, bringing us, the hobbyist, more exciting things. But ultimately, I mean, just looking at a random selection of YouTube videos from the Autel, I didn't see anything where the video quality and the stability was that great. I'm not saying it's bad. I just didn't see anything where I looked at that and it's like, man, that's better than Mavic 2 Pro. Actually, I didn't see any where the video was as good or better than Mavic 2 Pro, and that's a big thing for me, is the video quality and the video stability. I don't care who the manufacturer is. Ultimately, a drone to me is just a tripod. It holds the camera, and it stabilizes the camera in the case of the gimbal. So if I'm not getting the best video quality and video stability, it's not a value to me. Again, your reason for liking one drone over the other, in your case it seems that you like the Autel Evo, it may not be centered around video or photo. It may be purely a performance thing. I mean, you may enjoy flying the drone. You may like the way it looks cosmetically. There may be other reasons that you prefer that drone over DJI, which is cool. And and that's the sort of thing that I would like people to point out. I mean, I'm not a DJI fanboy. DJI drones are my favorite drones, and that's just because I've developed a very reasonable set of expectations when I take a DJI product out in the field that it's probably going to perform well. The exception, and it infuriated me. It was not a drone, but the DJI Ronin S. I never could make that thing work. It was horrible. And I was using a Sony Alpha camera with it. So what should have been a common camera, that's the only DJI product that has severely disappointed me. And right behind that would be the DJI Spark. I look at that as more of a fun drone. Battery life wasn't there, didn't have 4K, but it was just more of a fun drone. So that was, yeah, I mean, it's, so Tony says, let's see, Adam, actually let's jump to Adam here. Okay, Tony says, but I have the Mavic 2. He says he has the Mavic Pro, not the Mavic 2 Pro, or the Mavic 2 Pro. He just has the original Mavic Pro. I didn't like the original Mavic Pro. The reason I did not like the original Mavic Pro, and I continued to fly the Phantom 4, even though the Mavic Pro was smaller and lighter, I never could make the Mavic Pro, the original one, perform well with video. You know, if I did autofocus, it was wonky. If I did manual focus, it just didn't look good. The Phantom 4 was better. So, yeah, if you're comparing the Autel Evo to the Mavic Pro, I definitely encourage you to pick up a Mavic 2 Pro and do that comparison, because that's what I'd be curious about. Like I said, I did not like the Mavic Pro. I liked the Phantom 4 better than I did the original Mavic Pro. So, yeah. Adam says, the new tax war might raise cost on drones. Do you share the same opinion? I think politics, I mean, here's the thing. You know, whether it's drones, whether it's taxes raising the price of a drone, food, gasoline, whatever. I mean, ultimately, here's how I feel about that. Not to get into a political rant, but, you know, when you think about something that the price increases, and especially if it's something like a tax, the probability of that then decreasing in the future is very slim. Typically, once something goes up, then it never seems to correct, which means that, you know, if taxes go up, then you're going to see it's kind of a domino effect. You're going to see everything else go up that supports that. So overall cost of living goes up. So it's there's and I'm not aware of situations where something would be increased and then go down. I mean, it's just like a lawn care service. You know, if you have a lawn care service and they mow your grass and they say, oh, we're going up next month, you know, just so you know, because of the increased price of fuel or whatever. So then once that lawn care service goes up because of the fuel price, well, then fuel prices plummet a year or so after that. Now the fuel's about a third or maybe even a fourth the price that it was, but that lawn care service is still charging the same. And they charge that due to the fact that fuel prices has increased. But when fuel prices decreased, they continue to charge that. So again, if something goes up, it's hard for it to go down. Tony says 4K 60 is one thing. Yeah, 4K 60 is nice, but keep in mind, Phantom 4 Pro also had 4K 60, and I did not like the Phantom 4 Pro. But I did like the Phantom 4 that topped out at 4K 30, and obviously now my favorite drone, the Mavic 2 Pro, that also tops out at 4K 30. Really, unless you're doing retiming, speeding up and or slowing down clips within post-production, the additional frame rate of 4K 60 versus 4K 30 is not a huge advantage. Would I like to have 4K 60? Yes. But would I go with a drone that doesn't give me the warm and fuzzies just to get that particular feature? No, I wouldn't. And ultimately, you know, it's all about the color and the stability of the video. And from what I've seen, you know, looking at Mavic 2 Pro video in comparison, and I didn't do a deep dive analysis on the Autel. Maybe I watched 5, 10, 15 clips, and I developed an opinion that it just didn't have the professional look that I was looking for from the video. So, you know, call it how you want to call it. And then Tony says, everyone says the camera is a lot better than Zoom, and some have said the Mavic 2 Pro. I would doubt it would be better than Mavic 2 Pro, and the reason being, people argue Mavic 2 Pro's camera, oh, it's not a true Hasselblad. Well, that's probably somewhat true because Hasselblad cameras can be super expensive. But the fact that it has a 1-inch sensor, and I've used it, and day to day I use Sony Alpha cameras that have, you know, they're full-frame cameras, very high-end Sony G Master and Zeiss lenses. So I know what good photo quality and good video quality looks like. And despite the brand that's on the side of that Mavic 2 Pro camera, I mean, it says Hasselblad, it's got a 1-inch sensor. It's rock solid performer, especially in lower light. You take that thing out, you're going to see that camera shine. So, you know, it's blown my mind. So it's, let's see. Tony says, so how is the Mavic 2 Pro head over heels better than Evo? Well, it comes from a brand that I've grown to trust. And again, the only disappointment I've had from DJI has been the Ronin S, the handheld gimbal that I use for my Sony Alpha. That's the only disappointment that I've had with DJI. So, you know, it's a brand that I trust. And yeah, I want competition. I want to have more options. I'd love to be able to go out and buy a Parrot drone that would do, you know, better, that would perform better and provide a lower price point than the DJI equivalent. I'd love to go out and buy an Apple drone or a Google drone, but I don't know if I would. And I like to support the small guy. I mean, I'm an independent YouTuber, not part of a multi-channel network. I like to support the smaller guy, but in a case where I'm spending probably even more for that drone, that I don't know. And, you know, from following them on social media and that sort of stuff, I never really got the warm and fuzzies. And it was like, you know, you'd go to order it and it didn't have any or something. It was just really fishy. So, anyway, I mean, again, call me a DJI fanboy, that's fine. But I like to be across the board, and I would love it. If somebody's out there is watching this and you're part of a drone startup and you would like to send me your drone to review, I would love to do that, because I'm not a DJI fanboy. It's not like DJI or nothing for me. It's just that DJI happens to provide the best experience at this point in time for me. You know, the best video and the best photo. So, let's see. Tony says Parrot has the best flight pan software. What I dislike about Parrot software is that they've got the pay to play. And people say, oh man, it's only a few bucks to add these enhancements. That's slippery. You know, anytime you start, in my opinion, integrating pay to play unlockability for software, there's something called scope creep. So initially it may be, well, you got to pay if you want to unlock feature, you know, one feature. But then it's like, oh, we've got 25 new features that we just rolled out. But guess what? Each one that you may choose to unlock, you got to pay. It gets expensive. I feel the same way about subscription-based software models. It gets expensive. A few bucks here and a few bucks there, but it compounds and it becomes super expensive. I'll admit, the Parrot flight plan software is a good user interface. I mean, I would go as far as to say that the Parrot software visually may be better than DJI Go app. But again, the pay-to-play component and the fact that for me it crashed several times. The app, the Free Flight app, crashed several times. I don't get the stability from that app that I do from the DJI Go app. So, yeah, it's interesting. Tony says, I'd love to send you my power egg. That's funny. Yeah, I saw those on a few videos. Fly says, the Evo doesn't even have obstacle avoidance. In the rear, it just beeps. And again, I'm one of these, whether a drone has obstacle avoidance or not, I don't care. Because I've intentionally failed to acknowledge that obstacle avoidance exists. And the reason being is that keeps things safer. You know, if I assume it's not there, I'm going to fly more safely. So, but I think for people that may not have as much experience with drones, that obstacle avoidance is a positive. And I think from a public perception perspective, for the drone industry as a whole, I think that obstacle avoidance is a positive, because it makes it seem as if those drones are safer, you know, because the manufacturer's taking the time to add features that may prevent accidents. So I think that's a positive, just from a perception perspective. And then Adam says, I don't know, it just seems easy to argue that Mavic is the best. I'm not sure it's about being a fanboy or not. Yeah, and again, you know, sometimes these drones, and I think, you know, timing of release is important too. If you have a drone like DJI, you know, they've had significant gaps between releasing their next drone. So, some of these smaller competitors like Alltel, this, that, and the other, they choose to release drones during those silent times that DJI has, and I think that's what gets a lot of buzz, surrounding those other drones, and that's. But I feel. Let's see. I'm going to check something out here. I just don't. Let's see. One thing that got me about Alltel, and I don't know if y'all remember this one, but it was super cool. It was CES. Was it CES Consumer Electronics Show? Was it 2016 or 2017? Where they had an awesome drone. It had a modular camera. They even had a 360-degree camera option. But whatever happened with that? It's like they had the eye candy there at CES, Consumer Electronics Show, but why did that not materialize? That to me was kind of a red flag, because had that drone materialized, I probably would have been interested in it, just for the 360 spherical camera alone. I thought that was pretty neat. Let's see. Fly-Right Drone says, I still use the APAS system. APAS works quite well. Yeah, it's I've enjoyed messing with that. What's really fun though, what I enjoy doing with the Mavic 2 Pro and my Mavic Air is going up through the trees, and again, not recommended, but going through the trees and just kind of threading the needle to get back down on the ground. That's always a rush. And of course, for that I got to turn obstacle avoidance off. But yeah, it's good that we have mixed opinions here, because I like the fact that we have people in the audience that aren't solely DJI fanboys. I mean, that's good. I mean, again, DJI is my favorite drone, but I love having opinions from others, because that's what makes this Epic Drone Show great. Is being able to have all of the conversation. And, again, everybody tuning in, I mean, this is... Yeah, Tony says he loves DJI too, but I don't think it's head over heels better. Yeah, I mean, DJI, they're brilliant marketers. I mean, they've created, and many people have said this, they've created the perception that anytime something new comes out, that people have to get it, and I attribute a lot of that to their packaging. If you look at their packaging, it looks a lot like Apple. The way that they market their new products, or unveil their new products rather, it's a lot like Apple. They have their launch events. It's a lot like Apple, and I think by being a lot like Apple, a lot of people buy it just because they feel that they've got to have the latest and the greatest. And I'll tell you. I'm a huge Apple guy, but I'm not an Apple fanboy. I mean, I've got I just now got the iPhone XR, but that was only because my iPhone 7 Plus, the battery started to just, it was just pooping out, so I had to upgrade. But I didn't get the latest and greatest Apple. So, from that perspective, I admire Apple products, but I'm not an Apple fanboy, and I probably won't go top tier with the Apple items. The exception, of course, is my computer. I'm always going to go with the high-end MacBook Pro, just so I can do live streams like this. Have the processing power for the real-time chroma key, and something that I can also take out on the boat and be able to do my YouTube stuff while I'm on the go. So that's super nice. So yeah, it's controversy can be a good thing. That's what Adam says. Yeah, controversy can be a good thing. It is, yeah, because if we always assume that everything's perfect and nothing can be better, there's a fair chance that nothing will get better and we won't see any innovation. Well, for me, the Mavic 2 Pro, what the Mavic 2 Pro does, that the Evo, the Alltel Evo can't do. Number one, I've got something that I can trust. It's been a reliable experience. It's the build quality is exceptional. It's got a Hasselblad camera with a 1-inch sensor. Really high end quality, and the video quality speaks for itself. I mean, check out my hundreds of Mavic 2 Pro videos on my channel, youtube.com/IrixGuy, channel where you're watching this. I can go fast with it. If I need to get somewhere in a hurry, I can go into sport mode, which I seldom use. But the regular flight and then the tripod mode, super silky smooth for capturing cinematic type video. And it's those are my thoughts in regards to the Mavic 2 Pro. The Mavic 2 Pro, for me, like any drone, is a tool. It's something I can capture gimbal stabilized 4K 30 or better video with. But it needs to be reliable, and I need to have a plethora of both first party and third party accessories available. Yeah, and I have not flown the Evo, and I don't plan to fly the Evo. I mean, the only way I would fly the Evo is if I knew someone and they're like, hey, come out and fly the Evo. I mean, okay, let me see if I can do that. But to buy one, it's too expensive. I mean, I can buy drones like the Mavic 2 Pro and feel confident that I'm going to get the performance that I'm paying for. If I'm doing another, and maybe it would work fine. But what if it breaks? Well, to that point, I've heard horror stories about DJI's customer support. And again, call me a fanboy, but I've heard horror stories about their support. With that being said, fortunately, except for the Ronin S, the handheld gimbal, I've never encountered a situation where I've had to deal with DJI support because the products have been very well engineered and very reliable. So from that perspective, that wasn't a problem. But it's just... Adam says, I don't think the Evo is a terrible toy or anything. It can do most everything a Mavic can do. My Hyundai can do most everything a BMW can do too. That's very true. And in that scenario, both of those may have similar quality as far as construction and this, that, and the other. But it's a matter of opinion. But the big question is, do you think that Autel will ever release another drone? And do you think that DJI will ever release another drone? So looking at that question, those two questions there, that's kind of where I'm going. I feel confident about staying in the DJI camp until something better comes out, because I feel confident that they're going to continue to release something that's even better. And with the micro brand, it's hard to predict. And just think about it. I mean, when if you had a micro brand that had something revolutionary, they had something that was patented, then they could really earn some traction. But just to release something that, we've got 4K 30 we've got 4K 60 instead of 4K 30, that's not enough. I mean, a micro brand is going to have to do a lot more than that to overcome the hurdle of probably not having the marketing budget that a huge company like DJI now has. So, what would be really funny if someone like Google or Apple or Microsoft, let's say they purchased a company like Parrot, or they purchased Unique, or they purchased Autel, and then they injected all of their cash into that, taking something that was decent and turning it into something great. That could be cool. It could fast track a large company's entry into the drone space. I mean, they could buy something that was somewhat good and inject their resources into to making an even better product and not have to start from zero. So let's see. Yeah, Samsung. Samsung's great. Now I like Samsung and I hate Samsung. I've got a Samsung refrigerator, and when I bought it with 2 ice makers, one up top, one down below. The reason I did that is that I had a reasonable expectation that one of those 2 ice makers would fail. And sure enough, it did. And it was the one up top that dispensed the ice. I wish it had been the other one, but it wasn't. So now I get all my ice out with a little plastic scooper. My other Samsung product was a microwave. It lasted about 1.5 years, and then it just fried. I replaced it with another Samsung microwave because I got it heavily discounted, and it fit the brackets that were already installed. That microwave has not failed yet. And I've got, let's see, what other Samsung thing do I have? Those are the only Samsung products I've got. But, yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, second microwave's good, though. Oh, wait, I've got a Samsung oven. 0 problems. Works great. Looks good. And I got it deeply discounted. So, yeah, that was a good experience. Would I try a Samsung drone? Definitely. Would I try it over an Autel or a Unique or a Parrot? Definitely. Would I try it over a DJI? Probably not, just because DJI has such an awesome history. I mean, from my perspective, I've had a great experience with DJI's products. So, DJI 90 whatever says, I just try to keep it simple and rate the price versus camera quality versus controls versus battery capacity. The rest is mostly subjective, design aesthetics, and feel important, but muddles the water. Very well said. Couldn't have said it better, man. That's a great way to explain this. Oh yeah, I'm huge on DJI, Tony. I really am. But I'd love to be huge on another brand if another brand could release something that excited me more than what DJI's been putting out. And what we'll say, though, if a brand could come out with a drone that offers a 360-degree spherical camera that performs as well or better than Mavic 2 Pro and is still as portable or more portable than the Mavic 2 Pro, you would have me genuinely excited. You would have me captivated, for that matter. So, yeah, I mean, that would be great. And I challenge the competition. I would love to see someone step up to the plate that's serious and try to compete with DJI, and I just haven't seen that yet. The most miserable thing, and I'll go back to this, and I've mentioned it several times, is just how poorly GoPro executed their entry into the drone space with GoPro Karma. And then they just like, oh, well, you know, we're going to recall it, and then it was, I don't think it was their option to recall. I think that was dictated, but it's frustrating because they, you know, GoPro released the Karma. It was recalled, and what they should have done, they should have just canceled it. They should have said, hey, we failed. Stay tuned for Karma 2, and properly responded to the Mavic Pro that came out right around the time of the Karma. But instead, they re-released the repaired GoPro Karma that was already a failure, and then they, when they after they re-released it, then they said, oh, we're discontinuing drones. So they just, GoPro failed. And I love GoPro. I've been a GoPro user since GoPro Hero 2, but man, that experience changed my opinion about GoPro forever. And I hate to say that, but it did. Not necessarily their action cameras. I still like their action cameras. But for my opinion of the company, just took a nosedive when that happened. Thomas says, for me, I love the Mavic 2 Zoom. The selling point was a smart controller, which I love. Had I not gotten a smart controller, I would have spent quite a bit upgrading my phone. Very good point. Yeah, if you didn't have a current model phone, I could see how the smart controller could be a great selling point. Hopefully they'll reduce the price on the smart controller soon. I feel that it's priced a little bit too aggressively. Brad says, new DJI announcement I don't think is going to be a drone, but the new leaked Osmo Action. Leaked? Oh, I haven't seen this leak. Let's see. Well, Okay, well, if this Osmo action is true, and that's what it's going to be about, then that could easily become the GoPro killer, huh? And again, I don't trust leaks, this, that, and the other, but based upon the imagery and the title of the event, Unleash your other side. Maybe your other side means ground versus air, or maybe it means water versus air. Yeah, or maybe it means the other side, well, it's not flying a drone, it's just using a camera. Maybe that's what they're referring to as the other side. So, yeah, that's highly plausible, man. And if that's the case, if the action cameras are quality, I mean, yeah, I'll be ordering it, I'll be unboxing it, and I'll be reviewing it exhaustively here on IrixGuy's Adventure Channel. So, whatever they release, be sure to hit epicdroneshow.com on Wednesday if you're going to order it too, and consider going through my website to make your purchase. Again, I'm an independent YouTuber. If you choose to do that, it helps my channel a lot. So, let's see. Brad says, Thomas, how's the latency on the smart controller? I heard there's more latency. Thomas says, I have not had any problems with latency unless you're really far away. Seems to be way better than anything I've ever flew with a phone. Very cool. And see, I haven't even tried the smart controller yet. It's something that I'd like to pick up, but right now I just feel the price point is, I don't know, it's just high. But that's because I've got a current model phone, and I can do the same with it. But yeah, that's very cool. So yeah, it looks like it's going to be an exciting week. Whether it's an action camera, whether it's a drone, or whether it's something completely unexpected, I think it's safe to assume that we're going to have fun here this week on Epic Drone Show on IrixGuy's Adventure Channel. It's just going to be an exciting week. So again, everyone, just wanted to tune in. I really appreciate the conversation today. It's good to have opinions that are from people that aren't just DJI fanboys. I mean, again, I'm not a DJI fanboy, but DJI happens to be my favorite drone on the market today. So Brad says, I like that the Osmo Action shows a possible front-facing screen. That would be huge, because that's something, the GoPro, I'll admit, the GoPro Hero 7 Black is nice. It's not gimbal stabilized, but the in-body stabilization works quite well. But it would be awesome if that rumor materializes and DJI does release an action camera that's waterproof that has a front-facing display. That would be super cool for vlogging and selfie type scenarios. That would be super cool. 90 whatever says, thanks for doing these live shows. Glad I could make one for once. Yeah, definitely, dude. And I see you around all the time on the channel, and really appreciate you tuning into the live show. That means a lot. Yeah, Thomas says it's only $400 more. Yeah, that's still a lot of. Unfortunately, that's still a lot of cash. But Fly Right Drone says, awesome show, everyone. This has been awesome, and it's one of those things. Appreciate everyone's viewership. A few things I want to remind everyone: you can always choose to support the channel on Patreon. I've got a link within this video's description. Anytime you're looking for a drone accessories, cameras, camping gear, you name it, just go to epicdroneshow.com or IrixGuy.com, and if you shop through the links there, it helps to support my channel. Again, I'm an independent channel. I don't have the big marketing budget that a lot of channels are lucky to have, so your support is greatly appreciated, even if it's just a simple subscription and taking the time to comment, like, and share with others. That helps a lot. So with that being said, appreciate everyone tuning in. That's going to be it for this show. You'll be able to find the previously recorded version of this live show. Just go to epicdroneshow.com, and I should have it there within a few hours. Thanks for your viewership, and y'all have a good day. Hey y'all, IrixGuy here. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to subscribe, like, and share. It's viewers like you that enable my channel to continue to grow. Thank you.